as you all saw from my little visit to the grocery store, any store that has a good floral department is a fabulous place to purchase flowers for an arrangement in your home or as a gift. So I purchased, as I showed you in that video, some greenery as a filler, which was $5 for this bunch. And then I purchased these purpley pink flowers that are just gorgeous and very spring-like. They're gonna make my home feel a little bit happier and ready for spring. And these flowers were $6, just $6. And then I also purchased some baby's breath, and the baby's breath was $4. So for $4 and $6, that's $14 total. I was able to purchase all of these to create a fabulous floral arrangement. Wait till you see it and how easy this is to do. I think you're going to really think this is something you can try as well. Now, I do have a rather large vase here, and I have it filled with water. And I'm going to give you some tips on how I actually go about creating a flower arrangement very quickly and without a lot of stress. So this is so simple. I know you all can do the same thing, and rather than going to a florist and spending $50, $60 for a lovely arrangement, you can do it yourself and for $14, and for a vase that you can pick up these vases at Goodwill and other thrift stores for, you know, $1 or $2. Very, very reasonable. And I like to do that and give these as gifts to friends for special occasions too. So let's jump in and create a flower arrangement. Here I am off camera, and I wanted to show you, this is what I think a lot of people do when they get a bouquet of flowers from a grocery store. They simply take the bunch and plop them into a vase, and they just look like this. Not very interesting, is it? But it is so easy to fix this and to make it look great. So let's just take these flowers back out of the vase. And I want to share with you one of the tricks for preserving your flowers. Because these flowers, the end of the stem has been cut quite a while ago. And to give it a fresh cut will allow your flowers to draw water up into the stem and help preserve the flowers longer. So I am going to use a measuring sort of point. I want my flower to be a little bit shorter. I'm going to cut off a little bit more than an inch. I'm also going to pull off the leaves that are kind of wilted or will be down in the water. That will help keep the water a little cleaner. And what I'm doing is I'm going to use this flower as my center. And I have a total of 6 stems total. So what I'm going to do is go ahead, pull off any wilted leaves, and I'm going to choose another flower to use exactly the same way, center size. So I want it to be about the same length as this flower. So I'm going to cut it off right about here. And we'll have 2 flowers about the same height in the center of this vase. Now my next 4, I'm going to go ahead and continue pulling off wilted leaves, and I would like to show you how I use the edge of my counter for measuring purposes for my stems. So I pull my vase over to the edge of the counter and I measure the height of this flower and compare it to my center flowers. I want this one to be a little shorter. So I use my counter here as my measuring spot because that's where the bottom of the vase will be. And so I just trim off and place it in, and you can see it is a little bit shorter than the center stems. Come a little bit closer. And then I will do the same thing with the next stem. Pull off any wilted leaves, move forward, measure it about the same height as the one that I just did. Use right here the bottom of my counter as my measuring point. I'll place one on this side, and then we'll continue and do the same thing with these other two stems quickly. Now our next step is to use our filler flowers. And I'm coming over here and getting some of this greenery that I really enjoy. Isn't that pretty? So I want to use one of these stems in the center of my arrangement. So I want it to be taller. And I'm going to go ahead and measure it here on my counter. Here I have my tallest flower. And I'm going to go ahead and cut it off. Just using my scissors. I'm going to go ahead and place this in the center of my arrangement with my tallest flower. Just like that. And then I'm going to start adding some of these other greenery pieces, but I'm going to put them a little bit lower. And I'm using the edge of my counter for my measuring tool again. I'm going to go ahead and snip that off, place it right in here. I actually wanted to have it drape out a little bit away from the vase. I have another one of the same type. I'm going to go ahead and measure it. I'm just going to snip off a small amount. You always want to snip off some of the bottom of each stem, like I said earlier, in order to allow the stem to be opened up and be able to draw water up so it stays nice and green longer. All right, and then I have a third stem. I'm going to do the same thing here. Measure by the edge of my counter, snip off the end, and tuck it in. Now, so far, I've placed these three large leaf stems around evenly, 1/3 around the outside of the vase, and I am going to continue now adding these two additional stems to the arrangement. I'm going to cut these shorter, and I'm going to go ahead and place one on one side, and I'm kind of placing it between these large leaf stems. This one has a lot of bare stems that are missing leaves, so I'm going to go ahead and strip those bare stems off. And then I'm going to go ahead and place it in the middle here between. I'm going to cut it quite a bit shorter so that I can place it in here. And it is between these two large leaf stems. So I have, if you can see here, I have 2 and 1 coming out the center. Okay, now we're going to move on to our baby's breath, which will be our filler flower. And as I'm adding the baby's breath, I will be able to move these pinkish purple mums around, place them exactly where I want them to be, and this filler flower will hold them in place, and at the same time it will fill in the area and just make this be beautiful. So let's start with the largest stem. I'm literally going to take this middle stem here and snip it off. And I have a large piece. And right now my arrangement is looking a little bit uneven. And it's a good idea always to turn your arrangement. Turn it and turn it. Around and around. So that your flowers are spaced evenly around the vase. So here we go. I'm going to place this right in here in the middle. Now it looks pretty good, but it's a little bit uneven. So now what I want to do is just move my flowers around a bit. And I'm going to look at it from all sides, all views, to be certain I have it looking even and very, very pretty. What do you think? Right here, I'm seeing a lot of green and not as much pink, so I'm going to go ahead and move some of those blooms around. So, did you see how flowers are not delicate and they can be moved around, and you can play with them and make them be arranged just according to what you would like and how you would like your bouquet to look. And it's not hard, as you can see. It's just sort of a multi-step process, and all of us can do it. And if you just follow these little directions I gave you in the video about flower arranging, it doesn't have to be anything scary. And now you can make your own arrangements or give them away as gifts. Isn't that great? So give it a try, and I'll see you in my next video. So long.